Hello there everybody, and welcome to my review for the full release of Path of Achra. I did a video about this game a while ago when it was still early access, where I already recommended it, and it's done now and it's time for the proper review. So we're gonna go over the things that the game does, the good and the bad, and a proper summary. So first of all, what is Path of Achra? Path of Achra is a classic turn-based roguelite where you get to build your character out of a culture, a character class, and his religion. These things are absolutely working together in a dark fantasy world that is, as far as I've understood things, just drowning. And your job is to ascend into godhood of sorts. And I don't really have understood why we are doing what we are doing. But in a nutshell, you're prancing through the levels. You get to level up your character. You have a deep and immersive character building system with a lot of different paths, with a lot of different unique classes that you can learn, and also a pretty intelligent inventory and equipment system. So altogether you will spend 30 to 60 minutes per run, and that is a pretty quick and nice game. If you enjoyed games like Rift Wizard, this is pretty similar, just a little bit more on the fighter side. So basically, this is Rift Berserker, sort of. It also has a similar gameplay where you traverse through a simple level design. You get to chop down the enemy, and then you enter the next level. You get to travel through a node-based level design, and, well, we are all pretty familiar with the general formula for roguelites by this point. And Path of Achra follows this formula quite decently. That is not something bad. It is, quite on the contrary, something familiar that this game works pretty well with. So, the character class system works like you select your skills from these different paths. Every path that is linked downwards is belonging to one another, and you can mix and match however you please. You get some unique skill from your character culture, from your character's class, and then it's building frenzy. So the real cool part about that is it's really, really free, but we're going to go over the good and the bad next, because I want to start with the bad things first. So first of all, you might or might not have noticed already that the basic gameplay is a little bit obscure. It is quite challenging to get into the character build system, as the game features a lot of mechanics that I've been not familiar with, and basically the guy behind this game invented the entire game system on himself, so that is a good thing. I highly recommend to read the guide. This one screen explains so much, and instead of running blindly into it like I did, I really highly recommend just reading that, because unlike other games, I realized it's hard if you just go on experimentation, because it's very, very unique. And I don't want to say that this uniqueness is something bad, but it is at the beginning something where I was failing horribly without understanding why I was failing. So the other thing is, the game is generally quite overwhelming at first. You have so many moving parts that you get to decide to work with that it can be really like, what am I doing? Why am I doing? Who am I? And what the hell? I was really, really overwhelmed by this game at the beginning, and I consider myself a little bit of a data sponge. You don't unlock any of these trees. You have everything of this unlocked up front, and I love this. But at the same time, I really feel like it can be pretty difficult, because you basically see here the toolkit for all the builds that the game has in store. That is fighters, mages, summoners, tanks, teleporting people, people that just stand still and fry everything. It's all in this screen right in front of you. And this makes this menu very powerful, but also very convoluted. And, well, once you have understood that these schools are meant to be picked, like you pick one of these, you pick 2 or 3 of these columns at tops, and then you build around that. I highly recommend 2 columns to begin with, and that's that. It's how you're supposed to build it, but I took a while. It took me a while to realize that. Either way, yeah, it is pretty overwhelming at first. But last but not least, I also want to go over the fact that this game lets you stack so many effects together that reading the combat log is a bit of an odd joke. It feels a lot like Cyrilum, if you are familiar with that game. It's a monster collection game where you stack crazy effects on top of each other. Yes, we have that log here, but well, there's just so much happening in a single turn that it's just so cluttered that sometimes it's really hard to keep track of why which thing is happening. That all being said, let's move directly into the good stuff because I'm tired of talking bad about this wonderful game. So first of all, there is so much stuff that you can try out. Every race has a distinct, unique skill, passive of sorts, that allows to fit into different builds. Every class has a different gimmick that allows you to build differently around it, and every god has a different. It is very, very unique on all these ends. This results in a lot of different builds. The itemization system is amazing. You always get a different item patch to pick up here. We get to select which one of these we fight for on the next node, and the items are outright nuts. It is pretty cool that you find all of the time builds that items that can synergize so crazily with some builds that it is just, yeah, you can easily reach the point where the game plays itself with Path of Achra once you know what you're doing, that is. And it feels really cool to increase your power level consecutively unto that point, and when the power fantasy comes real and you come across a really cool item. And speaking about the item system also allows you to change your entire gear. Gear comes with passive effects. You mix and match these to your build, but every item that you find can also be sacrificed to power up your currently worn gear. So that means there is no such thing as bad gear in this game, because ultimately you just power up the stuff that you're wearing if you don't need the gear that you've looted. That is just amazing. I love that. So the builds are fun, the combat is fun. Why? Because it is really all quite snappy, quick, and, you do make meaningful choices where to go next, where to step there, how to step there. You get to study the enemies, which have very, very different skills, and if you don't have a super kick-ass build at hand, you better really check out whether or not you go somewhere, because some of these enemies really can counter in some builds entirely. So that is really, really cool. Meaningful decisions while maintaining a fast combat gameplay. I like that. And to sum up the good things, the writing. I really need to talk about the writing. This guy made this game on the side of his day-by-day job. This is a wonderful, immersive, dark fantasy world where most things have, well, these guys don't have that much of a big flavor text, but your races that you're playing have a nice flavor text. The enemies that you're facing, the nodes, the items, there's lore everywhere between, and I haven't fully understood why this world is just drowning and going to pieces, but it gives you vague hints about different entities striving for godhood, competing with one another, cultists that try to hunt you down, and all in all, it gives me that distinct sense of wonder, where I just want to know, who's this god of blood that this thing is talking about? Why is this happening? Why is that happening? There's a lot of fancy little reads in there, and I can only say I'd read a novel in this world totally. You see, that is just all I want to say. So let's move over to the summary. So this game is old school hack and slay goodness. It really reminds me of the games that I've played during my childhood in the 90s, and games out of the 80s that had a similar flair. It has a very, very versatile building style. You can do so many different things that all work out pretty decently and can spiral into pure madness just after a while, which is really, really cool. There's also a lot to unlock, so you get to get new tools very, very regularly. So all in all, I really enjoy that. But I gotta admit, this game is sort of an acquired taste, not gonna lie. It is just very different than other games. You really notice that one guy cooked this all up by himself, and it takes a while to get into, but due to the fact that it's all quick, snappy, and the runs don't take that long, it didn't bother me that I had to run with my face against the wall a couple of times until I finally found some combos that worked out well. And after that, well, I feel as if the game almost feels too easy if you go for some combos, but there's a lot of difficulty levels to unlock, so maybe I just haven't hit my difficulty level yet, or I should just try out to win with more different things. So whenever you die, you gather glory and then you unlock new stuff, so I can wholeheartedly recommend this game. One, because it's really good, it's really unique. It is very, 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 very unique in its own right. It's so refreshing to see a game that's not a cookie cutter, paste copy thing from the previous things, while maintaining a certain how to put it. The game stays inside the rules of classical roguelites, so that's really, really cool. So check it out, get yourself into it, and let me know in the comment section if you want to see a guide or something from my side. I'd be down. Thumbs up would be appreciated, and consider subscribing. Check out the description box, and check out Discord. There's also my Twitch where I do stream regularly, and big thanks to you watching this video until the very end. I deeply appreciate. See you all next time. Bye bye.